Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 35 of Radio Free Filler. Listeners may recall something I said at the end of our last show. I promised that in this show, we really would move on to something important. Well, I didn't actually promise, but I said we would. Come to think of it, I didn't actually say we would. What I said was, I guess we'll move on to something important in our next show. Yeah, that's it. I said, I guess. Well, at least I didn't say maybe. Anyway, as it turns out, we really do have something important for this show, and it's even reflected in what I've just been saying. We'll go on to our report on the problem right now.
Sometimes a menace is severe and extreme and dramatic, making its presence known in some spectacular fashion. At other times, a menace is subtle, insidious, and comes in nearly unnoticed. The menace we'll be examining today is one of the latter type, the slow, creeping kind that enters and consumes most of its victims before they even realize it. Yes, this new menace I'm talking about is the threat of evasive plants. I recently encountered an outbreak while conducting an outdoor interview with a local gardener who was attempting to do his civic duty by removing some invasive plants from one of our parks. We will now play back that audio with the advance warning that it may not be suitable for children, people with heart conditions, or just plain fraidy cats. Here it is. This is Buster Budget reporting live on location and still managing to sound like myself despite the lack of fancy studio equipment, but with the assumption that at least some post-production will be used. Here's a sample for that calibration. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. If that's good, we can now proceed. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Excuse me, can we start the interview now?
Not yet. We're just doing some preparation.
Well, how long will that take?
Just a minute or so. Maybe longer if there are any more interruptions.
Does that mean you want me to be quiet?
Well, I don't want to be too blunt about it, but yes, that's the situation.
Can I pull out some more weeds while you're getting ready?
It would be better if you just waited. It might create some background noise that would interfere with the quality of our signal.
But won't there be at least a little noise anyway? I mean, we are outdoors after all.
Back off, man. I'm a professional.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mouse your cheese.
I should think not. Well, apology accepted. Just nod your head to indicate your understanding.
Okay.
Hey, folks, do you see what I have to work with here? Oh, never mind. Let's get on with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I guess that will have to do. This is Buster Budget reporting live on location. I'm standing here beside the uncultivated section of the parkland beside the Washington and Old Dominion Trail here in Arlington, Virginia, and I am about to interview a local resident who is doing his part to help the environment. He has spent the last few weekends along the side of this trail engaged in the civic act of removing invasive plants. Before proceeding, I'd like to provide a little background information. Invasive plants are plants that have been brought into an ecosystem from some distant location. This is usually the result of intentional actions on the part of humans who seek to improve their own surroundings. They might encounter a certain plant while visiting another country and decide that this new plant is unusually attractive, or might provide some convenience or utilitarian function. Some of the invasives are even created, like the notorious click grass that has taken over so many lawns lately. We'll have more on that particular plant later on. The problem with these imported plants is that they tend to take over the entire area, crowding out or even killing the native plants that were there before. This often causes changes to the environment that make it more difficult for native animals to survive, which in turn causes further changes to the local plant life. In time, a once pleasant natural setting can be rendered unrecognizable by overgrowth and excessive density, threatening the original inhabitants with total extinction. It's not as bad as having Amazon set up a mini headquarters in your town, but it's still pretty bad. Anyway, there are a few intrepid souls who are working to combat these invaders, and I have one of them with me now. Wait a minute. Where did he go? No, seriously, did anyone see what happened to my guest?
I think he got swallowed up by one of the plants.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. See the shoes?
Yes, but what does that mean?
Well, this particular breed of plant doesn't like shoes. It has no problem with human flesh and clothing, but for some reason it just doesn't like shoes. That's why the shoes are still here. The plant spits them out.
Oh dear. Are we in any danger ourselves?
Not likely. This particular plant only feeds once a day, and it tends to grow alone.
Alone?
Yes, it has very wide spreading roots, so you seldom find another plant within a 15-yard radius.
Well, that's a relief. Tell me, what part of the world did this plant come from?
Well, actually, this is one of our native plants. It comes from right here.
Well, then I guess that's all right.
Sure, anything goes, as long as it fits in the ecosystem. Well, I've got to run.
But who am I going to interview now?
Well, do you remember that old song?
Which one?
I talk to the trees.
Hey, wait, come back. You can't leave me alone with a gag like that. Oh well, I guess it's worth a try anyway. So, Mr. Tree, would you like to participate in an interview? Come on, don't be shy. There's a whole public out there just waiting to hear your side of the whole canopy story. Won't you reconsider talking to me? What's the matter? Can't you get the words out? Oh, I see. There's a vine wrapped around you. Let me see if I can just... Wait a minute. The gardener left his hedge clippers here somewhere. Here we go. Now let me just... Hey, no fair moving.
What do you mean, no fair moving? You're coming at me with a honkin' huge set of hedge clippers and you want me to just sit here and take it? Guess again, Buster.
But you're suffocating that tree.
And you're squashing that grass you're standing on. Life in nature's no picnic, you know.
But can you at least loosen up enough for the tree to speak?
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I mean maybe, or maybe I just mean maybe.
Aren't you being kind of evasive?
Maybe.
You are. You are being evasive.
Well, sure. I'm what you call one of them new breeds of evasive plants. That's how I can dodge your clippers, as well as your questions.
Well, thanks for telling me that much at least.
Or I could just be pulling your leg.
You stay away from me.
Anything you say, boss.
Say, what's going on? Why are you still here?
I was trying to conduct an interview with a tree.
What tree?
There used to be a tree right here. Do you see the hole where it's been uprooted?
You didn't say anything to offend it, did you?
No, it wasn't like that. There was this vine wrapped around the tree, and, well, the vine got nasty and it left, pulling up the tree and taking it along.
Oh, yeah. That must have been one of the new evasive plants we've started hearing about.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Oh, we have a special protocol for situations like this.
That's good to know. So what does the protocol say to do?
Run for your life.
This is Buster Budget, signing off.
Well, Buster, that was quite a close call you had there.
That's for sure. It certainly gave me a whole new appreciation for that old show business cliche.
Which cliche is that?
It's great to be here.
Before the interview got interrupted, you'd mentioned something about something called click grass. Maybe we can talk about that now.
If you don't mind, I'd like to rest a little first. Do you have a song you can go to?
I think that can be arranged.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too. It makes me think of winter and death and my deep depression, and how I'm feeling ill, and when do I get my next bill? I hear that train a-comin', it's rolling round the bend. It makes me think of accidents and death and my deep depression, and how I'm feeling ill, and when do I get my next bill? And all of the voices in my head are yelling and telling me over and over, I only have a one-track mind. And here in the garden of my thoughts, a spider is chanting a tarantula mantra that occupies my one-track mind. Poor John is dead. Poor John Fry is dead. It makes me think of death. And now I'm stuck and out of luck. And the voices in my head are silent. So I've got nothing to say. too proud for medicine, and I've no prescription of any description. I've only my affirmation of declination. And I'm too proud for therapy, and I've lost track of my one-track mind, and I can't turn down the noise. So I'll turn up the music. I walk a million miles for one of your smiles, but it makes me think of exhaustion and death and my deep depression, and how there's no way back, but at least I'm back on track.
Hey, I said arrange, not deranged. Oh well, I guess that's what we get when we bring in an act at the last minute.
I'm sorry about that. I think I'm ready to go on with the rest of my report now.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, some invasive plants seem to have a utilitarian function. The example I mentioned was the species Poa applicatus, popularly known as clickgrass. It was developed in the late 1990s as a kind of lawn covering that could be controlled by computer. By a certain trick of genetic engineering, coupled with advanced computer programming, the seed's growth rate could theoretically be adjusted from a computer equipped with a specialized modem and transmitter. In the early stages, growth would be artificially accelerated until the seed took root, then slowed down to reduce the need for mowing. By the year 2016, scientific progress had improved the functionality to the point where an application was created that would actually cause the grass to retract back to a desired height after the property owner returned from an extended vacation. This eliminated the need for any mowing whatsoever. In addition, the grass height could be increased or decreased within a range of 1/2 inch to 3 inches, so that the yard could either appear lush for visitors or be made smooth for putting practice. Although the product was quite expensive, those who could afford it found it to be quite enjoyable to use, and much less bothersome than learning the various languages necessary to make shady deals with the kind of inexpensive hired help they traditionally exploited. However, nature eventually exacted a kind of retribution in the form of interbreeding between the new grass seed and a particularly gregarious breed of dandelions. The hybrids soon developed an intelligence of their own and could not only suddenly decide to spontaneously sprout an entire lawn full of white puffballs, but could also hack into the computer systems of the property owners and send out embarrassing email messages and, in some cases, leak tax records to the press. The only consolation was that they did not spread to the lawns of the less affluent neighbors. But for the wealthy property owners, this was no comfort at all. Clickgrass is no longer manufactured or sold, but the original company found a lucrative business by channeling their resources into a new law firm which specialized in cases involving clickgrass complaints. Thus, even when they were called upon to sue themselves, the settlements were usually still quite attractive. There are a few other new businesses selling what they describe as a natural alternative to clickgrass. Although the product is marketed under a variety of different, elegant-sounding names, it actually consists of ordinary grass. Finally, there is a special telephone line that wealthy customers who feel victimized can call to register their complaint 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They will be promptly connected with a trained customer service representative who will listen intently and then laugh at them. And that concludes my report on clickgrass.
Thanks for that second report. Getting back to my opening remarks, you may have noticed my dodging around about my promise for something important. Well, this is a cultural outgrowth of the evasive plant phenomenon. It's called hedging.
I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it crayon. I might even call it Crayon Crayon so everyone gets the idea. You know that it's got to be colorful and I'll have the whole world to draw on. Yeah, I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it Crayon Crayon. I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it Crayon Crayon. Sometimes it might have a touch of the blues or some other color of crayon. And I can keep on repeating the title so everyone's sure to remember it. Yeah, I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it Crayon Crayon. Let the flute player in. I'll color the flute player silver, and the horn section gets to be gold, and the bass player gets to be purple like rain or gray if the bass is old. And there's plenty of room for the blacks and the browns, and no, we won't forget the whites. I'll have the whole rainbow and then some in the music I'm gonna call Crayon Crayon. Let the string players in. I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it Crayon Crayon for every religion and politic, so we won't fear the yellow peril, and we won't worry about the red menace, and sometimes we'll party with the greens. All right, I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it Crayon Crayon. When will the choir show up? I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it Crayon Crayon. The lyrics won't be too suggestive, but the rhythm is nice and smooth. And if you play it for your lover, you know that they'll get the picture. Yeah, I think I'll invent a new kind of music. I think I'll call it Crayon Crayon.
And I think that's about enough for this week. Be sure to tune in again next time for another installment of Radio Free Filler.